Chapter 2. The doll learns to dance. Rain glittered on the street like broken data streams. Akiko stood beneath a half-dead sign, the violet light pulsing against her skin every few seconds. Open/closed/open. She had nowhere else to go. The club's bass was a heartbeat that reached her before the door did, a vibration that promised warmth, noise, and anonymity. Inside, the air was too hot, smelling of perfume, metal, and ozone. Dancers moved through the light like ghosts learning to be human again. They were free in the way holograms were free, shining, but never truly there. Akiko watched from the shadows, still in the borrowed coat that hid the Kendachi logo on her wrist. A manager noticed her and, mistaking composure for confidence, handed her a rag. "If you can stand the noise, clean the tables." She bowed out of habit, caught herself halfway, and muttered a thank you. That night, she earned enough to sleep on a cot behind the bar, the music still shaking the floor beneath her dreams. By the third night, she knew every song. By the fifth, she knew every dancer's timing. When one of them quit without notice, the manager asked if she could fill in. The outfit was small, sequins, glass heels, a wig that smelled of someone else's perfume, but it fit. The first step onto the stage was like stepping into another body. The lights hit her hard, blue, pink, ultraviolet, every color she'd been forbidden to wear. Her first instinct was to freeze, to stand still until the world stopped demanding. But stillness here was different. It wasn't obedience, it was command. When she moved deliberately, each gesture calculated the way she once planned strikes with a sword. Every breath, every tilt of her head sent a ripple through the room. The crowd followed her rhythm without realizing it. Control, she thought. Different stage, same rule. A laugh escaped her then, soft, accidental. It carried over the bass, and people thought it was part of the act. She leaned into it. The rhythm built, slow and deliberate, and Akiko started moving the way she had once fought. Precise, calculated, each motion beginning before the last one ended. No wasted gestures. No vulnerability that wasn't intentional. In the mirror behind the bar, she caught her reflection, a doll's face that wasn't hers. And for the first time in years, she didn't hate what she saw. They're watching Yumiko, she thought. They'll never see Akiko again. When the song ended, she stayed perfectly still as the lights faded, holding the silence until the crowd's applause broke it like a wave. She bowed, not to them, to herself. They called her Yumiko. The name tasted like lacquer and sugar. She became a porcelain doll painted with movement, her laughter timed with the music. Each night the applause came a little sooner. Each night she felt less like an intruder and more like a performer mastering her routine. The girl who had been molded for obedience was now sculpting herself. The show had ended hours ago, but the music still clung to the air like perfume that didn't know when to leave. Akiko sat on the dressing room counter, feet bare, her stage wig hanging beside her like something molted and forgotten. A voice came from behind her. "You keep moving like that, doll, and they're gonna start paying extra just to watch you breathe." Akiko turned. The woman in the doorway had red hair like neon flame and a grin that could sell chaos. A cigarette hung from her fingers. "I wasn't moving," Akiko said. "Exactly," the woman winked. "That's what makes it work." For a second, they just watched each other in the mirror. Two reflections in cracked glass, one painted porcelain, one lit cigarette. Then she leaned closer, stealing Akiko's eyeliner pencil without asking. "What's your real name?" Akiko hesitated. "Yumiko." The woman laughed. "Sure it is." She drew a small heart on the mirror, handed the pencil back, and said, "You can call me Candy. Everyone does." Akiko didn't correct her when Candy mispronounced arigato. She just smiled. A real smile, quick and strange. And for the first time in years, it didn't feel like failure. Days blurred into weeks. Akiko and Candy shared cigarettes, gossip, and the kind of half-truths that passed for intimacy in Night City. Candy was sweet, loud, and catastrophically literal. She took every joke at face value and every kindness as gospel. When customers leered, she laughed. When the lights burned too hot, she said the heat made her shine brighter. Akiko envied that simplicity even as she protected it. They became inseparable. Candy called them sisters. Akiko didn't correct that either. Some nights after last call, they lay side by side on the dressing room floor listening to the bass hum through the walls. Candy would hum a melody she was writing, words half-formed, dreaming of the day she'd sing on a real stage. Akiko would listen, tracing the rhythm in her head like a heartbeat she couldn't quite match. She told herself it was friendship. Her pulse argued otherwise. Money vanished as fast as it came. Rent, food, upgrades. The club paid enough to survive, but not enough to live. So when one of the regulars offered a private booking, she said yes before thinking. An escort, he called it, easy work, polite company. Akiko treated it like reconnaissance. She observed posture, tone, the micro-hesitations that revealed fear or desire. People talked too much when they felt seen. She learned which questions loosened tongues, which silences made them fill the void. By morning, she left with more than cash, she left with secrets. The clients were different. Some of the men or women just wanted company and something beautiful that listened their worries. Other clients wanted someone to sleep with. Akiko played her part to be the doll they wanted and gave them what they wished for, making sure that she was the one setting boundaries, even when she was the merchandise. Each client was another lesson in power. Every touch was negotiation, every smile a contract. She began to feel the old control returning, reshaped into something quieter but sharper. The wooden sword had become a whisper and a glance. She spent her earnings on training, shooting ranges, back alley drills, reflex boosters. The first time she held a real gun, her hands didn't shake. The recoil felt familiar, like the echo of her old blade. At night she danced. At dawn she practiced. The line between performance and combat blurred until she couldn't tell which came first. Candy noticed the change before anyone else. "You move different," she said one morning, studying Akiko's reflection. "Like you're listening to music nobody else hears." "Maybe I am," Akiko replied. Candy shrugged, satisfied with the answer, and went back to fixing her hair. Akiko watched her, thinking how easy it would be to reach out, to tell her that she was the only thing in this city that still felt real. But truth was dangerous, and Akiko had learned to survive by performing lies. Months later, Candy fell asleep beside her after a late show. The room smelled of makeup and cheap synth champagne. Akiko lay awake, watching the neon from outside crawl across Candy's face in slow waves. Violet, blue, pink. She memorized the pattern like a code she might one day need to crack. She whispered, "You're the only good thing in the city." But Candy was already dreaming. Maybe that was safer. Outside the club, Night City kept breathing. Machines, rain, traffic, life. A man sat at the far end of the bar nursing a glass of amber light. Big shoulders, bright smile, eyes too sharp for the expression he wore. He watched the stage even after it was empty, like he could see something the rest of the crowd had missed. When the bartender asked if he wanted another, he chuckled. "Not tonight, I just came to see the future." He left a generous tip and stepped into the rain. Akiko woke to the sound of thunder and the faint tremor of music still echoing through the floor. She didn't know that the man who had watched her from the shadows would soon call himself her fixer. She only knew that the doll she had built to survive was learning to dance on her own terms. And that control, once again, felt like freedom. She used to dream of freedom like it was a place. Now she understood it was just another mask, and she'd learned how to wear it better than anyone.